We're going to look in this lesson at the way you might choose your contractor. So by this stage you've got the actual offers in, either the 15 days is already expired or you've been looking at quotes before the end of the 15 days. Either way, you're going to look now at the proposals you've got. You may have already done this provisionally, and it's probably advisable you do have a look through them even before the end of the period. So if we see here, we've got a job we put on Elance for web graphics design for a new website. And if we scroll down, we'll actually see we've had 19 proposals, and it tells us from an average of $569 to a high of $1,500. So now they're in the order by default. They're in the order as we go down all the different contractors of when they were submitted. First is first, and the last that was submitted is the last. And we can go down. They vary in price all the way down. You can see that. So the thing is, with 19, you want to start organising your offers. You'll often get a lot of offers for work, given there are so many contractors out there. So how do you do that? Well, first easy way is to use the filter by button at the top, and if you click on all proposals, there you can see you can choose different options there for proposal amount. So if you said had a requirement that you would only have up to, let's say, $500 as your maximum price, you will see there that you will now have filtered everything under $500. However, it may well be that you don't want to do that, in that you want all the proposals because there may be some above the limit. You're not sure of pricing yet, and probably a better way at this stage at the beginning is to sort by. So you have a list in sorts order, so you can have a look at more expensive ones as well, but maybe they offer something that the cheaper ones don't. So if we have a look at this option, you can see rather than sort by submit date, which is the default option, you might, for example, start off doing this by the proposal amount, starting off at proposal amount low. So all of your offers are there, and you can see when it says low, the first ones are actually ones who haven't actually given a quote at all. They may want more information, for example. So we can go down there, we've got some of those, and etc. And then you start seeing the ones with amounts in there all the way down. And so they're now in quote price order effectively. Okay, so that's probably a useful way of doing it, because you're going to be able to rule out some maybe which are well above your budget. Now, another way of filtering these and sorting them out is by selecting a rating. You can see there is a small section with 5 small circles on each one, and if you click into those they become green, and the idea of those is you give them a rating 1 to 5, so 5 being the one that you perhaps is an excellent one you really want to use perhaps, and 1, 2 and 3 just one's much more average. So we're going to start using that rating system to actually start selecting these as we go through. So quickly we can see that it's quite versatile, and there are many ways to actually filter and sort our information. Now if I go down this list and have a look, for example, at one of these here, let's have a look. For example, this one here is $302, seems quite a low price, and we're going to have a look now as what do we need to look at on this to try and make a decision. Well, price is obviously one thing, that's going to be your decision on that at the end of the day, but other things you want to take into account are quality. Obviously, is his work any good? What's his reputation like? And this is why Elance is actually, I think, an extremely good way of instructing contractors, because if you have a look here and click on where the 5 stars is, you can actually see reviews from previous users. You can see how many jobs they've done, how many clients they've had, how many repeat clients they've had. Now in this particular case, you can see though he's got a low price, he hasn't had many clients. In fact, he's only had, by the looks of it, 1 client, and that may worry you. And if we go down there a little bit, you can see from September the 9th he had that 1 client who gave a very, very good review. Nothing wrong with that. He may be a very good contractor, but from the point of view we're starting off and we want a bit of safety, we probably feel safer with somebody who's got more reviews. So given that, we may want to perhaps give him a rating from our point of view, which is maybe, I don't know, just a 1 for now, because his price is right, but we're worried about his previous experience, etc. Now, the other thing you want to rate them by as well is to judge also the portfolio by having a look at the portfolio. And we can see this chap's work, and you can click on there for websites. So you can see it's actually very useful as well, because you can actually look at the work, and it may well be that even though somebody's a bit more expensive, or he may not have a lot of experience, you particularly like the work he does, and that's something else you want to factor into your calculations. So if we come out of that, and if we continue down the page, we're going to do the similar sort of thing. So you're going to be checking the rating from each one, and you do get ratings which show that people have had problems with previous clients before. You can be wary of those ones. How many jobs they've had, what their portfolios look like, and the price, obviously. Now, as you go down the page, you can also see I've already selected some of these. I've been through all of these, which you will need to do with your own ones, and I've come across 2 which I found to be very good. These 2 here, and they're both basically in a similar price bracket, within within $100 of each other, so they're within the price my price range. They've also had each a large number of jobs, as you can see, and their portfolios, I've checked both portfolios, they're both actually very good. So then you've got to choose between them, and the other thing that you'll want to do is have a look at actually what they're saying in their proposal. So for example, the first one had a relatively good one, but it was kind of a little bit standard. It wasn't a lot that seemed relevant to what I was trying to do in the website I was trying to set up. But if we look at the second quote, if I go into their quote and view more of what they're actually saying in their proposal, it actually was quite useful for me, in that they were offering 2 proposals, one to build from scratch and one to choose simply basically a WordPress template, which would be the cheaper option, and how long it would take, etc. And actually relevance to they've looked at what my website actually has, and it uses a different type of web design product that came with the ISP, and so they've actually taken a bit of time to have a look at it, and that really stood out. And when I actually went in then and had a look at their reviews again, first of all, I noticed as well that 96% recommended, which is quite high, but also they've got a 25% repeat, which is also quite high. Often it's down to 10, 12, 13%, so a lot of repeat clients there, which indicates they're quite good. I went through a lot of these reviews, and actually as you go through them, you get a real good feedback, and most of them, well, pretty well all of them, are actually excellent. Okay, once you're happy with the proposal and you've chosen your contractor, the next step is really just to select them. If there's any queries beforehand, you'll be messaging them and just clarifying any issues perhaps. But generally it's fairly straightforward. You'll have agreed a time, they will propose the time to do the work, and you'll have agreed a price. And often in the proposal they may have put in some requirement for a down payment, 50% payment or whatever, but basically it's fairly straightforward. And once you're happy with that and the proposal, you'll click the select button, and once you've done that, you move on to the next stage, which is when you're in a working relationship with that contractor.